Greetings everyone. Hearing God, discerning what is from God. And again, this is a very important thing to do. John 8:15. You judge after the flesh. I judge no man. And yet if I judge, my judgment is true. For I am not alone, but I and the Father who sent me. And John 8:17. It is also written in your law that the testimony of two men is true. I am the one who bears witness of myself, and the Father who sent me bears witness of me. We also have the Word of God and hearing His voice. And when these two line up, it is the same. We are discerning what is from God. So we have to discern what is from God, what is of the flesh, and what is from the devil, and to avoid those things that are not from God. In our ministry, discernment is of extreme importance. I have to discern who is actually inviting me to a country, if they are genuine or if they're not genuine. I have to make this discernment in prayer, because if you make a mistake, you can find yourself getting into serious trouble. We also have to have discernment of the different people that we work with in Africa, because if we don't, they may not be honest. But the Lord will give us discernment of who we can trust and who not to trust, where to go and where not to go, what to do and what not to do. And this really is the key of all that we do. John 8:26. I have many things to say and to judge of you, but he who sent me is true, and I speak to the world those things which I have heard from him. We need to bring every single area that needs discernment or judgments into his hands. And the Lord will show us every time what or who is of God, what or who is of the flesh, and what and who is of the devil. Prayer is vital if we are going to save time, difficulties, and money. We have to ask the Lord every time. And in countries close to the gospel, discernment is of the utmost importance. And here I've met the strongest of Christians. They know how important it is to abide in the Lord. In Burma, I have to particularly really pray, because they come and close the churches at least 2-3 times a year. And we've got to know when to get up and go into the woods or when to stay put. It takes courage to preach in such situations. But every time the Lord protected us and helped us and led us. He never fails. In New Zealand, I was praying for a lot of people, and most of them received their healing. But after the service, this lady came up to me with severe arthritis and asked me, why wasn't she healed? Why couldn't she receive her healing? After all, she had the faith. And I prayed and I asked the Lord about it. And the Lord said, unforgiveness. And I said to her, do you have a problem with unforgiveness? And she burst into tears and said, yes, I've never forgiven myself for something that I did many years ago. Well, it took me some persuasion to persuade her to forgive herself. But the moment she forgave herself, she was completely healed. Even the birds in wildlife know how to discern the voices of other birds. Now, there's a certain app one can buy. We are in Tunzi Wildlife Park at the moment, and there is an app that you can put on your mobile phone with the sound of the bird that you want to photograph. So you'll make the sound noise of the bird on your mobile phone, and because the birds cannot discern this voice as being the voice of one of their friends or relatives, the bird will come out and investigate so that they can discern where the sound comes from. And here you are able to take the photograph of the very bird that you have just taken. In the same way, we need to discern what is from God. We need to discern what is the motive behind a certain thing that a person may speak from. We need to discern if they are genuine or not genuine. And as we do this, we will be able to discern, like the birds, that know each individual bird sound of their clan. Can you hear them? Just listen a moment. Each bird knows the sound of each bird in its group. And if we know God in a similar way, we will be able to make discernments and not make any mistakes. So come to the Lord. Discern what He wants you to discern, and you will be surprised. God bless you.